Every day, we build the world around us.
But who's checking in on us?
Welcome to Built for Us.
It's a brand new podcast.
Built by construction workers for construction workers.
It's our own honest space.
There's no scripts, there's no suits. It's just
Real talk about mental health, stress,
And showing up for each other.
Okay, welcome everybody to episode 20 of Built for Us podcast for construction workers by construction workers. Today I'm with my good mate Steve Kirby. How are you, pal?
I'm really good, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really good. And I'm looking forward to this one. We're going to talk about when do we feel or when do we notice when a mate is struggling. Now, I'm sure it's an unfortunate truth that, I'm going to have a few tales about this. I'm sure you have as well, mate. So if you want to kick off with some of your experiences with that, and then we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, well, it can be a tough one, can't it? Because as guys, especially as guys, we don't like to admit that we're struggling, so we smile, as I did, and say, yeah, I'm fine. But there's definitely differences that you see in somebody. Like, they might be a lot quieter than normal. They might be a bit unkept and not looking after themselves, especially on site and stuff like that. But in some cases as well, they can be like overhyped, be more than themselves, because they're trying to hide it.
Yeah,
and I think that's what I did quite a lot when I was in my dark place. I was always the party boy, people used to call me, like from Jackass. In Jackass, there was party boy. I was party boy. I was Steve. But yeah, I'd smile a lot more and I'd be a lot louder than I probably normally am personally. But then obviously there's days where I was within myself as well. And I see it a lot now because I understand it and I've studied it. And as a coach, it's what I help people with. So I see people walking on the street and I can tell that they've got something on the mind. And one thing I look for is their eyes. Like they can just not there. It's like they're lost. And for me, that's a biggie. I've had friends in the past who, again, like me, they want to go out more, they want to drink more, they want to party more. And it's because they're trying to block something out. So that's my experience of it.
Yeah.
But even when, obviously, I do a lot of talks on sites and stuff, and I share my story of how I was being. Like, for me, I was smiling and saying I was all right, but I was really angry. I was really agitated. I was really frustrated. I was up. I was down. I was shouting at the kids a lot. I was taking my frustrations out on others, but then still smiling and saying, yeah, I'm fine. And when I do my talks, I get a lot of guys coming up to me at the end saying, I didn't realize I was struggling with my mental health as much as I am until I've just seen that. And you've made me realize I'm taking a lot of my stress, my frustrations out on my family, my kids. I'm not spending time on my kids because I'm too much in my own head.
Yeah.
And that's something else to look out for.
Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. And I think, one thing that kept going through my mind as you were talking, Steve, is that lived experience, something that you and I have both got, is a massive advantage when you do what we do. When we talk to people with the intention of trying to help people, because it's not that we've seen it and done it. Of course, we're all learning every day, but there's a lot of it we have experienced, of one degree or another. And I've sort of discovered as I'm from all out, whether it's on a site in it, the construction stuff that you're so good at, right through to some of the other corporate stuff, because I've done a little bit of this and because I've had my own mental health compromised, I recognize it in other people because it reflects in my mind and I think, oh God, yeah, I've been there. That's exactly what I would have said, or that was my behavior, and it resonates, doesn't it?
It's that lived experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like every single day is a lesson, and we've all got a story, and we all go through certain chapters, and some of us have gone through some really dark times, and I think when you've gone through that yourself, you've got that empathy. You can feel it, you can see it. But for somebody who's never gone through it, like me before my accident, I wouldn't have noticed it in people. No, I wasn't looking for it.
No.
If somebody was being a bit down, I'd just be like, oh, come on, get on with it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know how to approach him, what to say, or anything like that.
Mm.
My attitude, as I've said in previous podcasts, was if somebody told me they was feeling down, I'd be like, oh, man up, get on with
Yeah.
it. It's all in your head.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was brought up. That's what I knew.
Yeah.
Whereas I know, as I've mentioned, manning up is admitting that you're not coping, because it is so easy for it to go unnoticed.
Yeah, yeah, it really is, and you know, not everybody has got that empathy, and that's a good point you've made there. It's very similar for me, Steve. It would have took for somebody to be really over the top in their behaviour to amplify it, to make me notice. But I'd have noticed it, but it doesn't mean I'd have understood it, and I certainly wouldn't have known how to have helped. If I could help, I probably wouldn't have known how to do it. But now, I think I recognise it. You know, I've got a couple of friends that have worked in construction all their life, and one of them in particular is struggling at the moment. He's been struggling for a while, and I totally understand why. He's going through a lot, but it's given me the opportunity to reflect on my journey and recognise little things that he's probably masking. Perhaps he's not meaning to mask them. You know, he's just trying to be, you know, his normal self. He's got a family. He's got his bills to pay. You know, he's doing life that we all have to do. But I can sort of peel it back a little bit, and I can see when he's masking. I can see little things like you said, his eyes. I can see even I said to my wife not long ago, his skin looks different. He looks a bit more weathered and a little bit. He just looks. He's not just. Let's put it this way, mate. He's not just struggling internally anymore. It's manifesting itself. It's coming out, and you know. So now, we're talking about it, and he's getting the help. But I just think if we can see that a friend or a colleague or somebody that work with, it might not be the obvious stuff. It might not just be that they're quiet or that they're ratty or that they're disinterested. You touched on this before. This is something I definitely did for a while. I became quite manic. I was trying to do 10 things at once, and and I didn't really realize. I was just think, oh, got to on to the next thing, keep busy, do 3 things instead of 1 thing. And I became a busy fool, and it took its toll.
And that's because your mind's just going 100 miles an hour, because you've got all these anxieties and stresses and fears and everything that you're trying to not put out there. You're smiling and saying you're all right.
Yeah.
You're juggling about 10, 15 different things. And it's like, the more manic you can be, it kind of takes your mind off it. And you focus on that for a little bit, but then you lose your focus on that because your mind's not in the right place. And you start on something else. But then that's where the agitation comes in as well, because you're frustrated, because you're not finishing anything, you're not achieving anything. You're just going at 100 miles an hour, you're burning yourself out. And then that's when you start snapping at people and you get angry, and that's something else to look out for. You know, and I've worked with many supervisors who was great guys, but God, they had that much going on. If you did 1 thing wrong, or you got something, or you moved something, or I tracked over somewhere I shouldn't, like I've made a mess with my tracks, I'd get it all barrels, and I'd be like, whoa, chill out. I can put it right. Calm down. But they've got that much going on.
Yeah.
It's everything's a stress.
Yeah.
And that's, you know yourself, when you've got that much stress in your system, that basically it's releasing cortisol into your bloodstream. It does, as you said in your friend, you could start seeing it, you know, like in his body. Your immune system's run down, you're run down. It does start making you feel ill.
Yeah.
And you start, like it starts coming out physically. And for me, that's why it's so important when you are stressed, just step back. If it's too much, admit that it's too much. You know, like admit that you're not coping.
Yeah. Which is difficult, isn't it? And perhaps that's something that we can do as friends, to rather than jump in. And I know we've discussed this on previous podcasts, but not trying to jump in with 2 feet and act like that you can fix everything immediately. But if you can land a connection with that person and show a bit of empathy, and just say, look, listen, mate, don't think you're on your own here. Don't think you're the first and that you're strange and that you failed because you're feeling like this, because trust me, you're not. And then maybe leave it at that. And then that person will might not at that moment, but might just have the ability to reflect and think, God, isn't it great that someone's actually recognized it and not made me feel like a bit of a plonker, really? Because nobody would have been able, looking back, nobody would have been able to tell me, stop, Clive. What are you doing? That would have made me gone, well, what do you mean? What am I doing? I've got to do it. It's all right for you. If it hadn't been for my wife, who obviously knows me inside out and had the ability to talk to me and recognize all the signs, she wasn't able to stop what became inevitable in terms of my breakdown. But the support mechanism and the, the best of a soft landing that I could have was because she was there. But there's a lot of people out there, Steve, that they haven't got anybody, have they, mate? They haven't got anybody at all. And must be a real challenge.
I have a lot of clients coming to me for coaching who are about they're struggling a lot with stuff going on with work and like personal lives. But like one guy, for example, he hasn't got any family that he's in touch with. He doesn't really have any friends. He works away from home, like Monday to Friday, and he's stuck in digs. And because of that, and because of what he's struggling with, he's sat drinking by himself every night to just block it out. But luckily, he'd seen me doing one of my talks, and he reached out, and he realized what he's doing to himself, and he's now taking the steps to put that right. But I've asked him to start joining some groups and a hobby, like mix with people, because while we're stuck in a room by ourselves, it will make us go stir crazy. Like we need to socialize. We need to be around people, and whatever setting that is, whatever setting suits you, whether it's a walk, whether it's a gym, whether it's like stuff like Andy's Man Club, like there's different clubs throughout the week with regards to mental health as well.
Yeah.
But joining something, and for those who are feeling isolated and lonely and don't feel like they've got anywhere to turn, go and join some groups. One guy I've been helping, he's never played badminton in his life, but it was something he liked the idea of because he's getting on a little bit and it's not too physical. And so I said, go to your local gym and try it. And he was like, I said, just go and try it. And he got the confidence to actually go and to give it a go. And now he's there 2 or 3 nights a week. He absolutely loves it. He's met loads of friends.
Yeah.
And when I see him, he's a different person. He's a completely different person to what he was. And he, like I say, he was lonely. He was drinking. He was kind of torturing himself every single night.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And we're not, as human beings, as you say, we are not meant to be on our own. We are meant to be, let's go back to the day, we were part of a pack. We were part of a tribe. We relied on each other. There was leaders. Everybody had a job to do. And, friendship, loneliness is one of the biggest killers, and it's sometimes forgotten. And when people, especially us guys, the word lonely, it's almost like defeatist. It's like, well, of course I'm not bloody lonely, What do you mean?
Well, that again, that's with mental health and not admitting that you're struggling. You can be the loneliest man in the world, but you're not going to admit that to somebody, and until it gets to a certain point. And for me, when your mental health is in that place as well, like I said earlier, you can be hyper and manic and be party boy, or you can be within yourself and you want that space. You want that pride. You don't want anyone around you. You're lonely, but you don't want anyone around you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want to scream out for help, but you feel you can't, and then you end up isolating yourself. And again, that's something that we see on site sometimes. You'll go in the canteen, there'll be one guy just sat by himself in the corner, like all day, every day. He don't want to make some. And don't get me wrong, sometimes that can just be, it's not a mental health issue. People just like their own space.
Yeah.
But when your mindset does go into that place, I know 100%, sometimes as much as you want people around you, you can't be doing with people around you. And but my advice is mix with those people. Obviously, if it's friends who are negative and they're drinking every night and they're doing drugs, stay away from those people if your mindset's in that place. If your mental health's not in a great place, you don't want to be around alcohol and drugs. But as I said, get out, join a club.
Yeah.
I mean, it's go swimming, go and play badminton, go and do something.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. And sometimes all they need, all any of us need sometimes is it's almost like giving the permission to do it. It's like a peer or a friend or a colleague that says, "Well, do you know what? I tried this once," or "Do you know what? I started swimming," or whatever it might be, badminton. It might just be that they then think, "Well, bloody hell, if Stephen or if Clive can do it, what I can do it," and that's all they need, but they wouldn't have thought about it before because when you're struggling like that, as you know, your world shrinks.
Yeah.
Your mindset shrinks, your thoughts, your imagination, it all just shrinks, and to the point where you can barely see what's in front of you. And you see that, don't you? When we're talking about how we recognize it and how we think we can help people, it's because you can almost see the blinkers on. You can almost see it in the way people are, that even their body language sometimes. And I think it just means that we just have to just crack it a little bit. And it might be a joke, it might be a bit of banter, whatever it is. And all of a sudden that they'll realize, oh, I'm not on my own and perhaps I should listen. And another thing I always say to people as well, don't just concentrate on understanding the negative and understanding what's got you down. That's obviously crucial. But absorb yourself with the people that are doing well, and absorb yourself in the people that are positive and that have been up against it, and what's helped them and what's made. I listen to older people sometimes, people that lived 3 or 4 lives, and they're stoic and they're they don't have to be successful. It doesn't have to be about money, but they're a stand-up guy or girl. And I think, well, how did you get through that? And then you try and apply some of it yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, that's stoic mindset. Like, I've read tons of books on stoicism, and it's, for me, it helps a lot because I've learned to realize that yesterday don't matter. Like, I used to live in the past a lot. I used to live in my trauma. The PTSD, the anxiety, all of that. Why me? Like, I lived in that for a long, long time. But after reading a lot of books and courses I've done and stuff, I've realized yesterday's gone. I'm here today, and I'm fit and I'm well. If I focus on me today, I'm going to be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's what, for me, that's what it's all about. For me, yeah, I've gone through trauma. I've witnessed domestic violence with my parents. I've seen nasty things. My dad left when I was a young boy. Like, it was me, my mum, my sister. I had a bit of a tough upbringing, like many, but there's no blame. There's no,
No.
I don't, towards anybody else. There used to be. I used to have a lot of resentment towards, like, my dad, even towards my mum for them, what happened with us. But I've learned that carrying that resentment and that anger, it just brings you down today, and we can't change anything. So what's the point?
Yeah.
So, and I think you do see a lot of people who are struggling, and it's because of something that's gone on, obviously, in the past, and in the struggle to let it go. And one of the first things I do with any of my clients is I get to understand what it is. What is it what you're still dragging with you today? Because if you let go of that, if you cut that rope, you'll feel a lot freer, a lot looser. You'll have more energy in this moment. As soon as you cut that, you'll feel that weight off your shoulders.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, and that's one way of recognizing when somebody is struggling quite a bit, because they are a bit kind of hunched up and tight, and they're not loose and relaxed. You know what I mean? That you can tell they're carrying something. They've got something on the mind. And again, that's something else to look out. Like I said as well, not washing, not shaving. Yeah. The simple things, like stuff. If they're doing, if normally day in and day out, the clean, that everything about them, and then all of a sudden you notice they're not looking after themselves in the same way as they normally do, then that's a point to just step in and be like, "How are you doing? Are you all right?" And they're always going to go, "Yeah, I'm fine." But then that's when you say, "Look, are you all right?" Because you're not, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And again, it's normally that second time you say it when people will open up and say, "Oh, well, I'm going through some trouble with the missus," or I'm going through this, or but it's getting it out of them, and it's giving them the confidence to be able to talk to you.
No, it is, and it's I think something else that is quite noticeable for all of us, even when you're not struggling, but particularly when you are, if you're not sleeping very well, that manifests itself, doesn't it? And you can see it. And okay, sometimes we all wake up and our eyes are a bit baggy and stuff, but we might have had a beer or we might have just stayed up too late, and that's fine. But if there's a pattern and if it's consistent, and if you can see that person that genuinely looks like they're dragging themselves in the morning, that's not a good sign either. And goodness me, the sleep is just so important, and it's not talked about enough, the importance of sleep, and it's not spoken enough about how detrimental it is. I tell people all the time, it's a neurological fact that a tired brain concentrates on negative thoughts. It's a fact, and I'm sure you know that. So that's something else that we can recognize. If our friends or our colleagues are looking permanently bloody tired and they're not sleeping, just try and even if it's through humor initially, but get that conversation going, because there might be a small thing that they can do that can make a positive impact.
Yeah, it's like, you need another night tonight. You're looking tired.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's right.
goodness.
It's as simple as sometimes it's as simple as that.
But again, and you'll notice when somebody is starting to be more depressed. Obviously, it'll get to a point where they're ringing in sick more than they normally would. You know what I mean? And then I have clients who say, I can't sleep, but then I don't get out of bed. But what it is, they're not sleeping through the night, but then they're not getting out of bed, and they're falling asleep for an hour and then laying back there and then falling asleep for another hour and then getting up. So they don't feel like they're having sleep, but they are having broken sleep. And then when it comes to the evening, they can't get to sleep again because they've been having that broken sleep up until lunchtime or whenever they've dragged their asses out of bed.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to get up, set an alarm, 7 o'clock, whatever, whether you're at work or not, set an alarm, 7 o'clock, be active throughout the day.
Yeah.
I guarantee by the time you go to bed, you will be tired, you will start to sleep better, you'll get into that routine.
That's right. We need routines, don't we? And, then when you do have a lie-in or in a weekend and stuff, you feel like you've earned it. And then your body's ready and firing again to crack on and go for the 7 o'clock alarm on the Monday morning. But we have a body clock. They talk about the body clock, but it's a real thing. We do have a body clock, and you've only got to start messing with that. Like you say, okay, if we have a power snooze, nothing wrong with that. But if you start getting on the sofa for an hour, 2 hours, it's a slippery slope.
I often need a granddad nap nowadays. We get to about 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm nodding. But even with that, if I do fall asleep and I'm asleep for more than half an hour, when it comes to bedtime, I can't get to sleep. I can be laid there till 1, 2 in the morning because I've had that nap.
Yeah.
So again, for people who are struggling and they're not sleeping too well, just recognize that. If you are having a nap throughout the day, then try and cut that out and get your sleep when you go to bed, because you will get back into that pattern of falling to sleep 11, 12 o'clock, whatever time it might be.
Yeah.
And even if you get a good 7 hours, you're gonna start feeling a lot more refreshed, a lot better. But like you said, it is something to look out for. If somebody looks tired, if they look disheveled, hygiene's not amazing, they're the things to be looking out for. Or if someone's being a lot more hyper than normal, the kind of putting a bit of an act on and smiling all the time, yeah, I'm great. It's normally a sign that they're not great. There's something going on in there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've got to be able to have more conversations. Like, everyone should have the confidence to approach somebody and say, "All right, how are you doing?" You see, up here where I live in the north, everyone talks to each other and everyone's nice. When I go to London to do work and I'm walking down the streets and I look at someone and I go, "All right," all I get is, I mean, it's...
Well, they look at you like you're a weirdo. Like, well, what you must want something. Then are you trying to steal my phone or something? And yeah, I'm a bit of a country bumpkin. I live in Shropshire, in the centre of the country, but it's relatively rural. And yeah, we all speak and we have a laugh and we joke. But you're right. I'm a bit of a fish out of water in any big city, particularly London, because you barely get eye contact off people.
No, but for me as well, that's where obviously there's a lot of construction sites in London, and for them guys who live in that area, and again, they might have that same mentality. They don't really talk to anybody who they don't know. They know, like, keep to their own little, their own area, and then on site, they feel like they can't talk.
Yeah,
but we can all talk. We're all the same.
Yeah,
and I think that's what we've got. That's what we've got to realize. Like, nobody's alone. Like, absolutely nobody. My phone is always, anybody can message me anytime, and I'll reply. It's always there. And for me, nobody should feel alone. And that's why we need to get out. And for those who do feel really alone, feel really isolated, they need to find groups and stuff, or even online, stuff they can do online with other people.
Yeah,
so that they're interacting with other human beings.
Yeah, no, it's important, mate. Well, I've really enjoyed this. I think it's yet another really important topic that we've discovered. Thanks for sharing all that, mate. And all I would say is echo what you said there. Anybody that's listening to this, anybody that feels that they need a bit of help, a bit of support, use the network that we're creating. This isn't just about me, you, and the other great guys that we do this with. We're trying to form a community here, and we're forming a community that hopefully will just get bigger and bigger. And it's a community that's here to help people. So use it, listen to it again, use the contact details. And Steve, thank you, mate. And thank you for doing this episode with me. And we'll see you on the other side.
No, thank you, Clive. And looking forward to the next chat. We'll speak soon.
Thanks, pal.
Ta-da. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for viewing this episode. We really appreciate your support. Remember, follow us, subscribe, share with a mate, join us live. Built for us. Let's build something stronger together.